welcome back to another episode. Today we're excited to bring you our version of Chipotle Chicken. And since we're working with limited supplies, I've actually done some substitutions and altered some things. And this is our version of the Chipotle Chicken. Okay, so in this bowl, I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I've got about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I've got about 4 cloves of garlic. And I'm just going to mix this up to make kind of like a paste out of it. Now you don't have to worry about the ingredients or the amounts. I'll have all that in the description below. But what we're doing here is, we are still in the middle of the coronavirus here in Ohio. So I can't get out and get ancho chili paste or adobo sauce, so this is kind of our homemade version of adobo sauce. Okay, and then to this I have some oregano, I've got some paprika, cayenne powder, cumin, a little bit of garlic powder, black pepper, and then salt. And these are our seasonings, so I'm going to go ahead and mix these in. Mix this up. And it already has a great smell. It smells exactly like chili powder, chili adobo sauce. You want it pasty like this because it's actually going to marinate the chicken. Alright, so there's our sauce. Now, like I said, times are a little lean for us, so we're trying to stretch our food out as far as we possibly can. So, for a family of 4, we're actually going to have one very large chicken breast that will be marinating for our Chipotle chicken here. So, but before I do that, the one last thing that goes in here is some onion. We just did our grocery haul, and we're going to make this last 6 to 8 weeks our food. So I have prepared all my red onion and pre-chopped it. So the red onion, we're looking at about maybe like 1/8 of a cup of red onion, just for flavoring. So we'll put that right in there with that sauce, and then we'll go ahead and just mix this in with our adobo, homemade adobo. Okay, so now we're going to take our chicken breast, and we're going to just put this mixture right in our Ziploc bag. Now this recipe, you can thin it out a little bit and add some water to it, and you can probably do up to 3, maybe 4 medium to large size chicken breast, and this will marinate just fine with that amount. So we're going to go ahead and seal up our bag almost to the very end, and then we're going to take all the air out of it, squeeze the air out, and seal it up. And then it's just a matter of getting this sauce all over the chicken on both sides. And we're just going to kind of knead this. Now this is a fresh chicken breast, so if your chicken breast is frozen, you'll want to thaw it a little bit before you actually start this process, because the sauce will not marinate well with frozen chicken as it will with fresh. So, all right, so there is our chicken breast and its sauce, and then we'll go ahead and let this marinate for 8 to 10 hours. Preferably overnight. So if you do this the night before, it gives it time for all the sauces to penetrate into the chicken, so you get that good flavor throughout the whole thing. Alright guys, we will see you here and once this is done marinating. Okay, so we're going to make the Chipotle chicken. I've already marinated it. It's sitting in the refrigerator from earlier this morning when I showed you guys how to marinate the chicken. And now I'm actually heating up my cast iron skillet here. It's got a little bit of water in it. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil right in the middle. And I'm going to kind of make a bed where my chicken's going to lay and cook. I'm going to let this heat up just until it starts to almost smoke. And here's our marinated chicken breast from this morning. What I'm going to do is once this starts to barely smoke, I'm going to put my chicken breast that's been marinating right on top of that oil and then just let it set and cook. I got my heat on almost medium, but you want to let that set and just cook all on one side so it gets a nice crust on the outside. If you keep turning it, it won't get that nice crust on the outside, and if you put it in a if you put it in your pan that's not quite hot enough, the chicken will actually boil and not fry, which we don't want to do. We want to actually make sure it starts to sizzle once we stick it in the pan. And the best way to tell that is when your oil gets just about ready to start smoking. And you'll see little pillars of smoke start to come up. And you might have to mess with your heat a little bit just to get it going. That's our water boiling off in oil, heating up. So that is almost to the temperature that I want it to be. So I'm going to take and open up my chicken that's been marinating. And you don't want to take any of the marination off. You want to leave it all on there. That's going to give it just more flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And you hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that sizzle. If you don't hear that sizzle, your pan is not hot enough and the chicken will boil and not actually fry. So we're going to let this go about 5 or 6 minutes on this side. Turn it over and let it go another 5 or 6 minutes. This is a pretty thick breast. It might have actually been a little bit better if I would have cut this on a bias or an angle to have two pieces that would cook a little faster. That's okay, we'll make do with what we have. The reason why it's important to make sure your chicken breast is, we could have even pounded this out to make it even, is that my tail of my chicken breast is going to cook faster than the head of my chicken breast. So if you cut this in half or if you pound it out so it's all even, it'll cook more evenly and it'll be easier to get a good sear on it. And it's key, you want to make sure that your chicken is cooked all the way through, or there's two ways to tell that. You cut into it and the juices should be clear, or you should have an internal thermometer. We have a needle thermometer, and I will put a link in the description below to purchase this through Amazon. And this is the best way to tell. You stick it into the breast, right to the middle, and leave it set to see if it reaches 165 degrees. Once it does, it is safe to eat. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over now. I'll show you guys what it should look like. There. So you can see you got the nice charring along the edges here, and that gives it flavor. While you're cooking your chicken too, you can kind of tell without cutting into it right away by how soft it is. The more soft this is, that means it's raw on the inside. The more firm it becomes, the more cooked it is. Now you don't want it to be dry, but you want it to be cooked all the way, and then you want the juices to run clear. And the key is that internal temperature, the thickest part of the breast, which for us would be this side, 165 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and take my instant read thermometer here, and I'm going to put it in there and see where we're coming out temperature wise. Yeah, it's only 95 degrees in the middle of that chicken. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and come back in here again with our thermometer and check for chicken breast for temperature. So we're at around 121 degrees, so we still have a little bit of time to go on this chicken. We'll go ahead and flip them over again. And this is the foolproof way of doing this, is with an instant refill. It's the safest way, especially if you're feeding your children and you do not want undercooked raw chicken. I'm going to hold this up and get the sides seared too. Maybe the other side. What to do, take some of this brown and move it off to the side. We're going to allow our chicken to actually get more heat conducted into it. Yeah, hit 165 right there. Just double check this part of the breast. Yep, 165. So there we have a safe piece of chicken. So what I'm going to actually do is take this piece of chicken and I'm going to set him aside on a clean plate and just let that rest. Let that rest for 5 or 10 minutes so that it absorbs the juices left over. And that's it. That's a Chipotle chicken breast done well. Perfectly temperatured. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It's easy to make, it's got a lot of flavor in it, and it's going to taste just like Chipotle.